Kevin Holland's recent decision to step away from this sport lasted around 24 hours, and he's opened up on the reasoning for his decision to make that walk to the UFC octagon at least one more time. We'll discuss his recent comments on the fight, including one notably, "I plan on knocking Wonder Boy the out." Plus, we have a brief look into who the MMA star Kevin Holland is. Don't go anywhere. Why did he retire in the first place? 29-year-old Kevin Holland, a top-level competitor at the peak of his career, is now retired? It left a lot of people wondering if it was just another stunt. Kevin Holland came up short last month in a hastily arranged bout with welterweight contender Khamzat Chimaev. The bout took place only 24 hours after Chimaev missed his weights dramatically before a scheduled fight against Nate Diaz. Chimaev's issues on the scales forced matchmakers to hastily arrange a match and finally paired him with Kevin Holland after they were in a backstage altercation just the day before. But it didn't go so well for Holland, as he was taken down early and submitted by Chimaev, with the win being registered just over 2 minutes into the first round. This, it was thought, prompted Holland's decision to announce his retirement. He even confirmed it himself. "Had a run of 30 in a little over a month, got paid, I'm out," Holland wrote on social media back in September. While many didn't believe it, Holland kept saying he was retired. One of those who didn't believe the retirement announcement was Dana White, and in an interview with MMA Junkie, he shared some comments on the matter. He said he was not convinced by the retirement news and called Holland an emotional person whose decision was also made on the same grounds. In his words, "I think when you are competing in a sport like this and you've done the things that Kevin Holland has done, he gets out of the fight against Derek Brunson and realizes that he needs to work on his wrestling more. He's an emotional guy. I think the emotions got the better of him, and what he needs to do now is take some time and get back in the gym. I love the kid, and he can do whatever he wants to do. It's a little too soon for him to call it quits and retire." He's not the only believer that Holland wasn't retired. Fans dropped comments online expressing their disbelief, and it soon turned out they were right. How did the Wonder Boy fight happen? Typically, there isn't an intention to clown. Unretirements happen. One minute, a fighter thinks he's done and proceeds to retire. The next minute, receives an epiphany. He's got some more hits in the tank, and suddenly he's back. But in the case of UFC welterweight standout Kevin Holland, he took many of your numbers with his recent recreation of Conor McGregor's infamous "I've decided to retire young, thanks for the cheese" moment. As the welterweight contender explained on the MMA Hour with Ariel Hawani, the retirement announcement came from being at peace with his career. He explained his decision to retire and his quick reversal on that declaration to MMA fighting. He said, "For a second there, I felt I could walk away from all this and remain happy. No stress whatsoever." People were like, "Even with the last performance?" I was like, "Even with the last performance, I'm cool with it. Samurai code. Ready to die at any time." Hit. Bushido. It is what it is. As it turns out, fans were right not to believe his retirement. Not long after his retirement announcement, there was some even bigger news. Kevin Holland was stepping into the UFC octagon one more time, and not just against any opponent. It was going to be a bout against number 7 ranked Wonder Boy, and the bout was booked to be sometime in December. Stephen Thompson has been away from the cage ever since he lost to Bilal Muhammad nearly a year back in December. Holland, though, did leave the door ajar somewhat and said that he would consider returning for the right opponent. Well, it didn't take long for the UFC to fulfill their part of the bargain. Holland got the offer to fight Thompson and immediately knew he couldn't retire. Is Holland confident of beating Wonder Boy? It's safe to say Kevin Holland is feeling very confident about winning this match. Holland is not nicknamed Big Mouth for nothing. The dude knows how to talk and captivate the attention of fight fans and media primarily through humor. His big mouth came out of retirement with his recent string of comments regarding the Wonder Boy fight. Safe to say, he's feeling pretty confident. He said, "I would never turn down a Wonder Boy fight, whether it's a young Kev, an old Kev, or no Kev. I would never turn down a Wonder Boy fight. I think I can strike. The whole world thinks I've just got a right hand, and I think I've got a lot more than that. Kung Fu is a black belt for a reason, and everybody's Kung Fu fighting. So we've got Kung Fu versus Karate. This is old school stuff. It's fun. It's fun. It's very, very fun. I'm excited about this one. I don't plan on going there and shooting any takedowns against Wonder Boy. To show I'm not kidding and being 100% honest with you, I plan on knocking Wonder Boy the out. I think Wonderboy is a fantastic fighter, and his style is wonderful. It's his name. But that being said, Pettis was able to knock him out, and I think I'll be able to knock him out. Pettis was able to find his chin, and I think I'll be able to find his chin. And when I find his chin, I think I hit a little harder than Anthony Pettis. He concluded, but let's not get mistaken, a lot of people go out there and strike with Wonderboy, usually look crazy. Jeff Neal, dude can strike well but couldn't strike with Wonderboy. Vicente Luque strikes well. These two completely different styles couldn't strike with Wonderboy. Pettis is a crafty motherfucker, and he figured it out. I like to think I'm pretty crafty too, so I think I can figure it out, and I think my kung fu beats his karate. As earlier noted by Kevin Holland, Stephen Thompson has only been knocked out by Anthony Pettis, which happened back in 2019. Holland is looking to be the latest to inflict one more knockout loss to Stephen Thompson on December 3rd. Will he be able to do it though? Or will he kiss and retire for real this time? We'll find out for sure on December 3rd. Who is Kevin Holland? Kevin Holland, born in Riverside, California on November 5, 1992, was raised by his grandparents in Rancho Cucamonga, California, and Ontario. Holland started training in martial arts at 16 years old and currently competes for the highest honors in UFC in the middleweight division. Holland moved to Fort Worth, Texas, and fought out of the Phalanx MMA Academy. He's also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under former UFC fighter Travis Lutter. Holland turned pro in March 2015 and put together a 13-3 record before his UFC debut in August 2018. In Holland's run before getting signed by the UFC, he competed for various promotions, including King of the Cage, Bellator, and LFA. He got the eyes of the boxing world and also those of Dana White after defeating Will Santiago Jr. under the Dana White's Contender Series. Throughout the 15-minute bout, Holland talked to Dana White, the audience, and his opponent, all while the fight took place. This was the birth of Dana White's famous nickname for Kevin Holland, Big Mouth. Nearly 2 months later, Kevin Holland was signed to the UFC and made his debut against UFC knockout machine Thiago Marreta Santos on last-minute notice. Holland captivated the UFC fans with his charismatic personality and exciting fighting style, but still lost the match despite his best efforts. In 2020, he won BT Sports Cage Side Press and MMAJunkie.com's Male Fighter of the Year. Holland has some big wins under his belt during his illustrious time in combat and defeated Alex Oliveira at the UFC 272 on March 5, 2022 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Other sports stars have also been defeated by Holland, including Ronaldo Souza, Charlie Ontiveros, Darren Stewart, Joaquin Buckley, and Anthony Hernandez. Kevin Holland defeated Jacare Souza via first-round KO at UFC 256 in December 2020 and tied the UFC record for most wins in a calendar year at 5. He was also awarded Performance of the Night bonus during the match for his big performance and emphatic finish over the Brazilian legend Souza. Fast forward to 2022, and Kevin Holland's fight record is 23 wins, 8 losses. And after his most recent loss to Khamzat Chimaev, who is now unbeaten in 11 straight bouts since his debut, Holland is set to face Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. The fight is set to hold in Ontario on the 3rd of December and is already promising to be a firecracker of a match. Well, that's all we have for you today. Please give us feedback on who you think wins this fight, and remember to like and subscribe. Adios, amigos!